The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Welcome to the David Pakman Show. I'm David Pakman. Producer Lewis is here. TV director Natan is here. Everybody's here really today, Lewis. Rare occasion when everybody actually makes it into the studio.
Whether or not we want to be here, that's another story.
Lewis refuses to say for sure. Coming to you from the campus of Greenfield Community College, of course, at our new studio in Greenfield, Massachusetts. A lot to talk about today, Lewis. I don't even know where to start. I guess just with the first thing on our itinerary.
That's the plan, yeah.
Fox News ran a very, very different story on foxnews.com relative to basically every single other news outlet, Lewis, a few days ago, when we heard reports that a number of U.S. Navy SEALs had been killed in a helicopter crash in Afghanistan. It was logical because of the nature of the event, how tragic it was, and what a significant loss it represented, not only in terms of lives and the number of people it affects, but also to the Navy SEAL team. Rightly so, the New York Times ran a story about helicopter down by Taliban fire. ABC News, 31 Americans killed, including 25 SEALs in Afghan chopper crash. CBS News, 22 Navy SEALs dead in Afghan chopper crash. MSNBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, BBC. Everybody, Lewis, talking about the tragic crash in Afghanistan, except for Fox News. What story did Fox News want to run? Well, Fox News ran a story instead, reporting that the Republican Party was calling for the resignation of Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner. And basically it was an article that parroted the Republican talking points that had been sent out that morning. So if we are, and Lewis, I know we don't even need more confirmation of this. It's been so long that we've been covering this extensively. We don't need any more information. We could do with no more information, and our conclusions should still be the same, which is that Fox News is a mouthpiece for the Republican Party, that Fox News is not out there to actually provide news. There's very little news actually being delivered. But instead, that like many other conservative media outlets that have now made a habit out of just parroting the talking points that are sent out every day by the Republican Party, they're out there to advance a particular agenda. Because the news was that 30, 31, 25, depending on which reports you looked at that particular day, many Navy SEALs had been killed in a tragic day in Afghanistan. But instead, Fox News choosing to push propaganda. Spin talking points, as a matter of fact. Your thought, Lewis? Any surprise?
It's strange to me because this seems like the type of story that Fox News would normally love to report because it could, get people angry about the terrorists, about this, about that, and push the whole Republicans are better at defense thing.
This was my thought exactly. If this was during the George W. Bush presidency, however, I could understand Fox News downplaying U.S. deaths in Afghanistan because they needed to maintain the narrative that we are there for noble reasons, we are there for good reasons, and we are there because we are winning. And you want to downplay bad news there. However, you would think, as Lewis very astutely, I must say, points out, that now that Barack Obama is the president and he actually sent more troops to Afghanistan, there would be an interest among conservative media in saying, Obama's president, and we've got such a deadly day in Afghanistan. This is absolutely horrible. What is going on with Obama? However, I think that urge, which must have existed among some, was superseded by the urge to start pointing to Democrats, pointing blame to Democrats as it relates to the debt deal. I think it made more sense for them. They were more interested in that propaganda than the anti-Obama propaganda as it relates to Afghanistan. But You're right, it was a bit surprising to me.
Yeah, indeed.
And what's even more sad is that there are a number now of right-wingers that are coming out of the woodwork and have been out of the woodwork that are gladly taking responsibility for and even delighting in the decline of America. You've seen this, Lewis, and we've talked about it. So those who claim to be the most patriotic Americans seem to have a vested interest in the country doing as poorly as possible simply to blame Democratic politicians, which, by the way, makes no sense anyway, because who's in power in the House of Representatives? We have a divided government here. Regardless, Lewis, we are seeing more and more of these so-called patriots that want the U.S. to do poorly simply to blame Obama. I can't think of anything less patriotic.
Yeah, I guess not. People that would see their country burn just to make sure Obama does not get reelected.
With what eventual goal, ladies and gentlemen, of then saying, we were right, we need Republicans there. Now Republicans will be elected. Really? You really want Republicans to be handed a country that is in shambles, the shambles you are rooting for now, amidst your so-called patriotism? It makes no sense.